I'm gonna go ahead and guess this is a moment you experience every day. It goes like this. You're about to start the important work. You can feel it coming. Your hand reaches for your phone. You open a tab you don't need. You suddenly remember something that absolutely must be done first. Something completely irrelevant. And you watch yourself do it. Like you're a passenger in your own mind. Here's what is strange. In that exact moment, you know what you're doing. You can see yourself procrastinating in real time. You know you'll regret it. You know the work isn't going away. But you do it anyway. Why? Most people think they know the answer. I'm lazy. I lack discipline. I need to try harder. They are all wrong. Because here is what nobody tells you. Procrastination isn't a character flaw you need to fix. It's a bug in your operating system. And bugs can be debugged. I'm going to show you exactly what's breaking, down to the neural circuits competing inside your skull, and the precise interventions that actually work. Not motivation, not willpower. System redesign. By the end of this, you'll understand why your brain does this, and more importantly, you'll know how to reprogram it. Let's be precise about what we're dealing with. Procrastination isn't about time management. That's like saying a computer crash is about the keyboard. Procrastination is the voluntary delay of an intended action despite knowing this delay will cause harm. Notice the word voluntary. This isn't about your child getting sick and needing you. That's adaptive reprioritization. This is about choosing Netflix when you know you have a deadline tomorrow morning. The real issue. Procrastination is an emotion regulation problem disguised as a productivity problem. When psychologist Julia Baum studied procrastinators, she found something fascinating. People don't avoid tasks. They avoid how tasks make them feel. Fear, anxiety, boredom, overwhelm. Your brain detects these emotional signals and initiates an avoidance protocol. The task gets delayed, the feeling gets temporarily relieved. The cycle reinforces itself. You're not managing time poorly, you're managing emotions poorly. Here's the problem. When present you faces an unpleasant task, stress hormones activate. Your limbic system kicks in with avoidance behaviors. Procrastination provides immediate relief, a dopamine hit that reinforces the pattern. Your prefrontal cortex trying to plan and execute gets overridden. This explains temporal inconsistency. Why future you makes brilliant plans that present you constantly sabotages. It's not weakness, it's competing systems with different optimization functions. If we treat procrastination like debugging software, we need to identify the failure points. Research reveals several primary bugs in the system. Fear of failure. Avoiding the task prevents potential failure. If you never try, you never fail. Your brain creates a protective mechanism, but it generates paralysis instead of safety. This often stems from perfectionism or past negative experiences. Task aversion. When tasks feel boring, difficult, or overwhelming, your brain naturally seeks comfort. Procrastination feels like self-care in that moment. It's not, but the signal is convincing. Perfectionism. If standards are impossibly high, starting feels pointless. All or nothing thinking emerges. If it can be perfect, why bother at all? This creates a paradox where caring too much prevents any action. Decision paralysis. Delaying decisions avoids responsibility for outcomes, but this creates a cascade effect. One delayed decision blocks everything downstream. Self-regulation deficit. Difficulty managing emotions and impulses leads to choosing immediately rewarding activities over important but delayed reward tasks. This isn't moral failure, it's a skills gap. There's a concept from philosophy called acrasia, acting against your better judgment. You know what you should do, you intend to do it later, but when later arrives, the cycle repeats. This temporal dimension is critical. Procrastination isn't just doing the wrong thing, it's doing the wrong thing while knowing you'll regret it. Now let's get practical. These aren't motivational tricks. These are system interventions backed by research. Number 1. Implementation intentions. Preloading decisions. Instead of vague goals like I'll exercise more, create specific implementation intentions. If it's Monday at 7 a.m., then I will go to the gym for 30 minutes. Psychologist Peter Gollwitzer found this dramatically increases goal attainment. In one study with recovering addicts, 80% who created specific plans completed their resumes. 0% without plans did. Why does this work? Well, you're delegating decision-making to your unconscious mind. When the situational cue appears, Monday at 7 a.m., you act automatically without requiring willpower. You've created what Goldwitzer calls instant habits. It goes like this: if a situation, then I will a specific action. This bypasses the negotiation between your limbic system and prefrontal cortex. The decision is already made. Number 2. The 2-minute rule. Eliminating management overhead. David Allen's principle. If an action takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. The logic is elegant. The overhead of managing a task, writing it down, scheduling it, thinking about repeatedly, often exceeds the time to complete it. Many people create multiple reminders for simple tasks, spending more energy managing procrastination than doing the work. James Clear adapted this for habit formation. When starting a new habit, scale it down to a 2-minute version. Read 30 pages becomes read 1 page. Do 30 minutes of yoga becomes unroll my yoga mat. You're creating gateway habits that make starting effortless. This leverages the Zeigarnik effect, the psychological phenomenon where unfinished tasks create cognitive tension. Once you start, even for 2 minutes, your brain resists leaving tasks incomplete. It naturally propels you forward. Number 3. Temptation bundling. Rewiring the reward system. Behavioral economist Katie Miltman discovered something clever. Pair activities you avoid with things you enjoy. You only access the pleasure while engaged in the productive task. Her research showed gym attendance increased 10 to 12% when participants could only listen to tempting audiobooks during workouts. This overcomes present bias by attaching immediate gratification to tasks with delayed benefits. The formula looks like this: I can only want while doing should. Watch your favorite show only while exercising. Visit nice cafes only during difficult work calls. Listen to podcasts only during household chores. You're not fighting your reward system. You're reprogramming it. Number 4. Eat the frog. Strategic sequencing. Based on a Mark Twain quote, this method advocates tackling your most challenging, unpleasant task first thing in the morning. The psychology is sound. Once you've completed your first task, everything else feels manageable. You create momentum. Additionally, you eliminate the mental burden of dreading the task, freeing cognitive resources for the rest of your day. Personal adaptation matters. While some emphasize biggest and most important, others find success prioritizing the task they are most likely to avoid, whatever creates the most psychological resistance. The key is strategic sequencing. Start with what's hardest for you, not what's objectively most important. Number 5. Structured procrastination. Redirecting energy. Philosopher John Perry offers a counterintuitive approach. Working on a secondary task to avoid primary ones can still be productive. The key insight is this: procrastinators rarely do nothing. They do marginally useful things to avoid more important work. Structure your task list so less critical but still valuable tasks sit below your primary task. When procrastinating on the top priority, you'll naturally work on the other meaningful activities. This creates accomplishment while the frog task marinates in your subconscious. Critical caveat: secondary tasks must offer real value. Organizing your desk counts. Scrolling social media doesn't. This isn't permission to avoid hard work. It's acknowledging that energy will flow somewhere. Channel it productively. Number 6. Environment design. Friction management. Productivity isn't just internal. Your external environment creates or eliminates friction for different behaviors. Strategic friction design involves increasing friction for undesired behaviors. Log out of social media. Use website blockers. Place your phone in another room. Decreasing friction for desired behaviors. Lay out workout clothes the night before. Prep your workspace. Have materials ready. Research by Sophie Leroy on attention residue reveals that task switching leaves cognitive fragments that impair performance on new tasks. Even brief interruptions, checking your phone for just a second, creates lasting attention deficits. Cole Newport concludes that frequent checking creates a persistent state of self-imposed cognitive handicap. Solution: implement single tasking with structured work sessions. The Pomodoro technique uses 25-minute focused intervals with 5-minute breaks, or align with ultradian rhythms, 90-minute work cycles matching natural energy patterns. You're not fighting distraction. You're designing an environment where focus is the path of least resistance. Number 7. Precommitment devices. The Ulysses Pact. Inspired by Odysseus tying himself to his ship's mast to resist the sirens, precommitment devices voluntarily restrict future options to ensure commitment. Examples: financial stakes. Pay for a workshop in advance. Loss aversion motivates attendance. Social commitments. Public declarations or accountability appointments dramatically increase completion rates. Physical actions. Delete tempting apps. Lock away distractions. Research from the American Society of Training and Development shows having a specific accountability appointment increases goal completion likelihood to 95%. The Dominican University study found people who wrote goals, created action commitments, shared them with friends, and sent weekly updates completed 76% of their goals versus 43% for those who merely thought about goals. You're binding future you to decisions present you makes when motivation is high. Number 8. Habit stacking. Leveraging existing infrastructure. James Clear's technique involves anchoring new habits to existing automatic behaviors. The formula looks like this. After or before a current habit, I will do a new habit. Here are some examples. After pouring morning coffee, meditate for 1 minute. After brushing teeth, do 5 pull-ups. After sitting for dinner, state one thing you're grateful for. This works because existing habits are already encoded as neural pathways. By linking new behaviors to established triggers, you create automatic execution without requiring willpower. Research suggests it takes 18 to 254 days, or on average 66 days, for habits to become automatic. Habit stacking potentially accelerates this process by piggybacking on existing infrastructure. Number 9. The progress principle. Building momentum. Harvard professor Teresa Amabile analyzed nearly 12,000 diary entries and discovered that making progress on meaningful work is the most powerful workplace motivator, more than financial incentives or recognition. Small wins create psychological momentum. They boost confidence and motivation to continue. The effect compounds. Progress generates positive emotions, which fuel motivation, which drives further progress. Here is the application. Break large goals into smaller milestones you can achieve daily or weekly. Track visible progress. Chains, checkmarks, progress bars. This leverages both the progress principle and the goal gradient effect, where motivation increases dramatically as you approach completion. You're not just doing work, you're creating a feedback loop that reinforces itself. Number 10. Cognitive restructuring. Debugging the mental model. Since procrastination stems from emotion regulation failure, challenging underlying thoughts is essential. Common cognitive distortions. All or nothing thinking. If I can't do it perfectly, there's no point starting. Catastrophizing. If I fail this, my entire career is ruined. Overgeneralization. I procrastinated once, so I always will be a procrastinator. Here are some cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT techniques. Examine evidence for and against anxious thoughts. Consider alternative perspectives. Assess realistic consequences of action versus inaction. Develop balanced, motivating self-talk. Reframe I have to as I choose to foster autonomy. Research shows that CBT is highly effective for procrastination because it directly addresses the thoughts and emotions driving avoidance. You're not changing reality, you're changing how you interpret reality. And interpretation determines action. Finally, we get to the meta strategy. Continuous system maintenance. Here's the truth. Procrastination isn't a one-time fix. It's ongoing diagnostic work. Like maintaining software, you need regular monitoring. Notice patterns. When, where, and why do you procrastinate? Track your energy and emotional states to identify triggers. Root cause analysis. Don't just treat symptoms. If you procrastinate on exercise, is it fear or judgment, lack of enjoyment, unclear goals, or something else entirely? Iterative solutions. Test different strategies. Measure results. Adjust approaches. What works for one task or life phase may not work for another. Self-compassion. Research consistently shows that self-criticism after procrastination increases future procrastination, while self-compassion helps re-engagement. Treat setbacks as data points, not character indictments. Systems thinking. Recognize that procrastination doesn't exist in isolation. Sleep, nutrition, stress, relationships, and environment all affect your emotional regulation capacity. Procrastination reveals itself not as a simple on-off switch, but as a complex adaptive system requiring thoughtful intervention at multiple levels: neurological, psychological, behavioral, and environmental. The goal isn't eliminating procrastination entirely. That's both impossible and potentially counterproductive. A strategic delay sometimes serves legitimate needs. Instead, aim to debug the system so procrastination becomes the exception rather than the default. Start small. Choose one strategy from this system's approach, perhaps implementation intentions or the 2-minute rule, and test it for 2 weeks. Track what changes, adjust, and iterate. Remember, the most sophisticated systems weren't built in a day. They were debugged one improvement at a time. You're not fixing yourself, you're optimizing a system, and every system can be improved. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.